We pulling?
Hey, I'm Zax, and here's our guide to the One-Armed Bandit, the 6th boss in Liberation of Undermine. This guide is brought to you by Wowhead and their raid cheat sheets, which we'll tell you more about right after the boss. Also, big thank you to our supporters on Patreon. Hope you'll enjoy all the Patreon exclusive content we've got coming out this tier, like our weekly podcast and more. Alright, so the One-Armed Bandit is this big slot machine, and it has 2 phases. There's a lot of spread cleave to do throughout phase 1, and you want to save Bloodlust for phase 2. This is another super unique fight because of the main mechanic that happens every time the boss gets to full energy, which has a lot going on. He runs to the front of the room and casts Spin to Win, which spawns these 3 real assistant ads in set locations. Each ad has an icon above their head that tells you what kind of token they're holding, which can be flame, shock, bomb, or coin, and you have to quickly kill the ads to get them to drop their tokens, and then run over them to pick them up and use your extra action button to put them into the boss. And you have to put 2 tokens in within 30 seconds, or else the boss enrages and you're dead. On top of that, you also have to put a different combination of tokens in every single time, or else you're also dead. So the raid leader is going to need to call out which tokens to put in each time. For each different combination you put in, the boss then gives you a different big mechanic, and there are 6 options. There are the 3 shock combos, which we recommend avoiding until later in the fight, because every shock combo spawns one of these coils on the ground that repeats its mechanic every single time the boss gets to full energy instead of just doing it once. The shock and flame coil spawns a bunch of these moving fire swirlies to dodge. The shock and bomb coil spawns these bomb ads that fixate random players and explode on the raid if they touch them. So everyone has to CC and AoE these down while staying away if they're fixated. And the shock and coin coil sucks everyone toward it and does some raid dam. These are on the easier side of things, but them happening repeatedly and overlapping with each other later on is the tough part. On the plus side, the tanks can interact with a coil to clear up some of the room from the tank mechanic, which I'll get into in a bit, but you won't need to do that until later on anyway. And there are the 3 non-shock combos, which are more difficult, but you only have to deal with them once. The flame and coin combo just puts a huge dot on the raid, so the healers need to use cooldowns for it. The bomb and coin combo spawns these bomb ads that fixate random players and explode on the raid if they touch them, but these have a ton of health and they can't be CC'd, so everyone has to help nuke these down ASAP and try to have them all move in the same direction for easier AoE. And the bomb and flame combo spawns similar bomb ads, but these can be CC'd and they also blow up in 15 yards when they die, so the range need to CC and nuke these down while the melee stay away, at least once the bombs get low. In testing, each ad set had the same token options every pull, so you could do the same order every pull, but we'll have to see if that changed. Speaking of the ads, they all need to be killed as fast as possible with some extra attention on the one furthest from the boss. They all crank unavoidable raid damage, their overload cast has to be interrupted every once in a while, and they put a dispellable debuff on random players. If you get this debuff, you need to get out of the raid, because when it gets dispelled, it releases these moving fire swirlies for everyone to dodge. So that's the whole full energy mechanic, but there are a couple other mechanics too. When the boss casts Payline, dodge the big casino chips that roll out from the boss, which are telegraphed by these purple lines on the ground, because they do big damn and stun you if they hit you. And if you want to risk it, you can stand really close to them as they roll by to get a short damage and healing buff, which is kind of cool. When a chip hits a wall, it falls over on the ground and does some raid-wide damage, and then someone can run over to it and press their extra action button to roll the chip themselves. You want to do this because the boss gets a damage buff for every chip that's out, and making the chip hit another wall makes it despawn. You can either aim the chip to go back through the raid to give people another chance at getting the risky buff from it, or you can just aim it at the wall to instantly get rid of it and not risk anyone getting rolled over. Just make sure you have some range DPS taking care of these. The boss's Foul Exhaust cast puts a huge heal absorb on the entire raid that also slows while it's on, which the healers have to deal with. And for the tanks, when the boss casts the Big Hit, it does huge damage to the current tank and increases their damage taken from the same cast for a while. And it also drops this pool of lightning on the ground where they're standing. So they need to use a defensive cooldown for the hit and make sure they're standing away from where the ads spawn to keep the lightning away from them, and then taunt swap. Standing in the lightning actually increases your damage taken by a lot, so you can't really stack the pools on top of each other unless you have a huge defensive going. Also, once you have a coil active from one of the shock combinations, a tank can interact with the coil to make it absorb 2 of the lightning pools on the ground in case you want to clear up some of the room. Using a coil does a ton of damage to the tank though, and also makes the coil do its mechanic again, so you definitely want to use them as little as possible. After you've gone through all 6 of the token combos, the boss starts phase 2, which can also happen early if you get the boss to 30% health before then, at least in testing. In this phase, he doesn't spawn the ads anymore, and now for each full energy cast, he instead gains a new predetermined mechanic. The first cast gives him a coil that spawns in a random spot around the boss and knocks everyone back, and has a beam that connects to the boss, which pretty much one-shots anyone that it touches. So everyone has to stay away from the beam, and a couple more of these coils spawn throughout the phase, so it gets a little crowded pretty quick. The second one gives them a couple beams that get fired at marked players after a few seconds. These players need to fan out from each other and stop moving so everyone else can see where they are and avoid the beams. The third one makes the boss pulse a ton of raid damage for the rest of the fight, and the fourth one makes the boss hard in rage and just one-shot the whole raid, which is why you want to save Bloodlust for this phase, because it's a straight up race to the finish. And that's pretty much it. For our recaps this tier, check out the new and improved Wowhead cheat sheets, a quick and easy way to get all of the key info for every boss in Liberation of Undermine, including concise strategies, key assignments, and any pro tips you might need. So check out the cheat sheet link in the description. And thanks again to our supporters on Patreon. We've got a ton of Patreon exclusive content coming this tier, like extended heroic guides, mythic walkthrough guides, and a weekly podcast. So check out that link below. See you next time.